You got your Bible? Let's read. We're going to be reading from 2 Chronicles chapter 3, 4, 5. 2 Chronicles chapter 3 is Solomon builds the temple. 2 Chronicles chapter 4 is temple's furnishings. 2 Chronicles chapter 5 is the ark brought to the temple. I'm going to be reading from the International Version. Today, I'm going to start at 2 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 1. It's Solomon builds the temple. Then Solomon began to build the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem at Mount Moriah, where the Lord had appeared to his father, David. It was on the threshing floor of Uriah the Jezebel, the place provided by David. He began building on the second day of the second month in the 4th year of his reign. The foundation Solomon laid for building the temple of God was 60 cubits long and 20 cubits wide, using the cubit of the old standard. The portico at the front of the temple was 20 cubits long across the width of the building and 20 cubits high. He overlaid the inside with pure gold. He paneled the main hall with pine and covered it with fine gold and decorated it with palm tree and chain designs. He adored the temple with precious stones, and the gold he used was gold of Reverence. He overlaid the ceiling beams, door frames, walls, and doors of the temple with gold, and he carved cherubim on the walls. He built the most holy place, its length corresponding with the width of the temple, 20 cubits long and 20 cubits wide. He overlaid the inside with 600 talents of fine gold. The gold nails weighed 50 shekels. He also overlaid the upper parts with gold. In the most holy place, he made a pair of sculptured cherubims and overlaid them with gold. The total wingspan of the cherubim was 20 cubits. One wing of the first cherubim was 5 cubits long and touched the temple wall, while its other wing, also 5 cubits long, touched the wing of the other cherub. Similarly, one wing of the second cherub was 5 cubits long and touched the other temple wall, and its other wing, 5 cubits long, touched the wing of the first cherubim. The wings of these cherubims extended 20 cubits. They stood on their feet, facing the main hall. He made the curtain of blue, purple, and crimson yarn and fine linen. The cherubim worked into it. In the front of the temple, he made 2 pillars, which together were 35 cubits long, each with a capital on top measuring 5 cubits. He made interwoven chains and put them on top of the pillars. He also made 100 pomegranates and attached them to the chains. He erected the pillars in the front of the temple, one on the south and one on the north. The one to the south he named Jachin, and the one to the north Boaz. I'm going to read now 2 Chronicles chapter 4, the temple's furnishings. He made a bronze altar 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 10 cubits high. He shaped the seat of cast metal, circular in shape, measuring 10 cubits from rim to rim and 5 cubits high. It took a line of 30 cubits to measure around it. Below the rim, figures of bull encircled it, 10 to the cubit. The bulls were cast in 2 rows, in one piece with the sea. The sea stood on 12 bulls, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east. The sea rested on top of them, and their hind quarters were toward the center. It was a handbreadth in thickness, and its rim was like the rim of a cup, like a lily blossom. It held 3,000 baths. He then made 10 basins for washing and placed 5 on the south side and 5 on the north. And them the things it to be used for the burnt offerings were rinsed. But the sea was to be used by the priests for washing. He made 10 gold lampstands according to the specifications for them and placed them in the temple, 5 on the south side and 5 on the north. He also made 100 gold sprinkling bowls. He made the courtyard of the priests and the large court and the door for the courts, and overlaid the doors with bronze. He placed the sea on the south side at the southeast corner. He also made the pots and shovels and sprinkling bowls. So Hiram finished the work he had undertaken for King Solomon in the temple of God. The 2 pillars, the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, the 2 sets of network decorating the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, the 400 pomegranates for the 2 sets of network, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network, decorating the bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, the stand with their bases, the sea and the 12 bulls under it, the pots, shovels, meat, forks, and all related articles. All the objects that Hiram Bel made for King Solomon for the temple of the Lord were the polished bronze. The king had them cast in clay, molds in the plain of the Jordan between Succoth and Zereth. All these things that Solomon made amounted to so much that the weight of the bronze was not determined. Solomon also made all the furnishings that were in God's temple, the golden altar, the tables on which was the bread of the presence, the lampstands of pure gold with their lamps to burn in front of the inner sanctuary as prescribed, the gold floral work and lamps and tongues. They were solid gold. The pure gold stick, the wick trimmers, sprinkling bowls, dishes, and censers, and the gold doors of the temple, the inner doors to the most holy place, and the doors of the main hall. I'm going to read the last chapter for the night. It is 2 Chronicles chapter 5. When all the work of Solomon had done for the temple of the Lord was finished, he brought in the things his father David had dedicated, the silver and gold, and all the furnishings, and he placed them in the treasures of God's temple. Then Solomon summoned to Jerusalem the elders of Israel, all the heads of the tribes of the chiefs of the Israelite families, to bring up the ark of the Lord's covenant from Zion, the city of David. And all the men of Israel came together to the king at the time of the festival of the 7th month. When all the elders of Israel had arrived, the Levites took up the ark, and they brought up the ark in the tent of meeting and all the sacred furnishings in it. The priests who were Levites carried them up, and King Solomon and the entire assembly of Israel had gathered about him were before the ark, sacrificing so many sheep and cattle that they could not be recorded or counted. The priests then brought the ark of the Lord's covenant in its place in the inner sanctuary of the temple, the most holy place, and put it beneath the wings of the cherubim. The cherubim spread their wings over the place of the ark and covered the ark in its carrying poles. The poles were so long that their ends extended from the ark, could be seen from in front of the inner sanctuary, but not from the outside of the holy place. And they are still there today. There was nothing in the ark except the 2 tablets that Moses had placed in it at Hebron, where the Lord made a covenant in the Israelites after they came out of Egypt. The priests then withdrew from the holy place. All the priests who were there had consecrated themselves, regardless of their divisions. All the Levites who were magicians, Asaph, Heman, Judith, and their sons and relatives, stood on the east side of the altar, dressed in fine linen and playing cymbals, harps, and lyres. They were accompanied by 120 priests sounding trumpets. The trumpeters and singers joined in unison, as with one voice, to give praise and thanks to the Lord. Accompanied by trumpets, cymbals, and other instruments, they raised their voices in praise to the Lord and saying, "He is good, and his love endures forever." Then the temple of the Lord was filled with a cloud, and the priests could not perform their service because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord filled the temple of God. I have read 2 Chronicles chapter 3, 4, and 5. Chapter 3 was Solomon built the temple. Chapter 4 is the temple's furnishings. Chapter 5 is the ark brought to the temple. I plan to, by the grace of God, to come here every single day to read 3 to 4 chapters daily, 366 days out of the year. You can follow me on social media platforms. On TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, it is Minister Chiffon. I will be live 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Facebook, it is abbreviated MIN Chiffon. Minister Chiffon's out.